Kawai versus Yamaha, we are looking at their digital instruments, the Clavinova CLP-745. We're comparing it against Kawai's CA59, two incredible instruments coming in at the exact same price point. A lot to unravel. Stick around. We're going to play them, listen to them, talk about the features, and which one might be right for you.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in downtown San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, check out our other videos, sign up for notifications, like our videos, leave us comments. We appreciate the support and we love to interact with you.
You brought a piano fact.
I did.
didn't.
I have a piano fact. I have my notes here because it's an in-depth piano fact, and I'm going to butcher the words in this. But I thought this was pretty interesting. I asked Ted earlier today, I was like, do you know the classification of piano? He's like, what, like spinet, upright, studio grand, you know? I was like, no, do you know like the
Darwinian class.
The Darwinian class of
for lack
piano,
of a better expression.
When it comes to as a musical instrument where it fits in. And so I did a little research on this, and it's two names, and I'm going to butcher the name, how you say it, Hornbostel dash Sachs, like Goldman Sachs. And this dates all the way back to 1914. I would say this is probably the obsession with, dictating how the universe works, as we discovered new cultures and discovered how others lived. This was something that they...
Well, as a result of the Industrial Revolution, they wanted to categorize everything, everyone.
Because what's the use of anything if it's not categorized?
Or classified or put together in some kind of chart.
So this is our piano fact. We like to start every video with a piano fact.
This is more than a piano fact. This is a music history fact.
This is a music history fact. So they went with the intention of being able to classify any instrument from any culture. They wanted to be able to immediately put it in a category because, of course, it sorts well in a library, which is a thing of the past as well. But musical instrument classification, they built off of the Brussels Conservatory method, which was a 4-level classification: the air column, the string, the membrane, and the body of the instrument. So there's 300 basic categories once you get to the lowest level, but there's 5 major top-level categories. And we'll just go through them real quick because it's pretty interesting. Ideophones, which produce sound by the actual body, which is like a cymbal or a rattle or a jaw harp. It's, the instrument making sound is the instrument. It doesn't include drums because that's the next category. The membranophones, which is a sound from a tightly stretched membrane. You can imagine, animal skin or something.
Right.
You're banging on it, makes the sound. Then there's chordophones, which is the vibration of a string. This is where pianos live. So we'll come back to chordophone once we talk about where pianos live. There's aerophones, which are vibrating air. And then a category that was added in 1940 was the electrophones. And then they broke that down in 3 segments. The electric action, which is like a pipe organ with a solenoid air valve. The electric amplification, that was like the Neo-Bechstein, which 1931, it had basically an amplified piano. Really a cool instrument that I would hope we can review one day. And then radioelectric instruments, which produce electricity, radio sound waves. But once we go back to chordophones, where the piano lives, there's zithers underneath, and the board zither, so it has a board zither with a resonator box. So a piano is a resonator box board zither under chordophones. And that's the actual classification of a piano and where we live today, right?
Hornbach Sachs.
Yeah, Hornbostel Sachs.
Hornbostel Sachs.
1914. So that's our piano fact. We are over 100 years later, almost 110 years next year. And so
still stands, that
yeah,
system?
That's the classification, and
cool.
It was done by the Dewey Decimal System, and like each number would, if you're in a library, you were able to find the classification and the books on that. So that, luckily we're not in a lecture here on that, but we are talking about some fun instruments: the digital piano, Yamaha's Clavinova series, Kawai's Concert Artist series. I love to just point this out real quick in all these digital piano videos because I think it's really important to realize a feature set is a feature set, and musicality is a musicality thing, and it has a lot to do with the player, and has a lot to do with how the instrument responds to you, and sometimes is an intangible thing. And for lack of being able to describe those things, manufacturers will be feature heavy and really try to sell you on,
Getting your money's worth with their product.
yeah, virtual resonance modeling, or
Oh yeah, the marketing tools.
yeah, there's all these words that you'll hear, and like, what does it mean? What is it, And so, just because you can fit 1,000 voices into something doesn't mean that makes it better. So we're looking at these two products, both at the price point of $37.99. The Clavinova, the CLP-745, finally has some wooden keys to compare against the Kawai. So this is the entry point into Yamaha's wooden keys. It is only on the white keys. The black keys are still going to be simulated ebonies, and that is, that's going to be their. It's called the Grand Touch. Grand Touch. One word.
Grand Touch, and you said S.
So the S is simplified or small, or the smaller version, because as you move up, it's just the Grand Touch.
It's simulated, but
it's simulated. And so this is their entry point into, again, wood keys, and you're able to play, and they're really excited for the Grand Touch. That was something new on the 700 series versus the predecessor on the 600 series. You get the CFX sample, you get the Bosendorfer sample, you also get the binaural sample, which they're really big on marketing because it's headphones. When you put on the headphones, it plays like you're sitting in front of the instrument. On the Kawai, you get the Grand Feel Compact, a wooden action. All 88 keys are wooden on this, so the ebonies and the ivories are going to be made out of wood, and a great feeling action. It's the same as on the 49, but
the
again,
keys make a difference.
Yeah, the keys make a little bit of a difference, and you're getting a bigger sound system, so it kind of it responds differently. Better, but yeah, both of these have 50-watt speaker systems, 50 watts per side, so 100 watts total. And the SKEX rendering on the Kawai is a fantastic sounding piano sample. What would you say about the CFX?
I would say that both Yamaha and Kawai probably responded to the same bid request, because all the parameters are almost identical, except that I think Kawai in this instance gives you a little bit more detail with their virtual technician and ability to go in and kind of fine-tune the sounds to yours, to your
well,
liking.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I would say like the big push because you think about the digital piano, it's got to feel right, it's got to sound right, and then there's one key feature to give people, and I would say both of them have kind of dug their feet in. The piano room is that for Yamaha.
It is, and the one thing,
and then the virtual technician is that for Kawai.
There is another way around, and that the virtual technician, I think, far outdoes the piano room. That's just me. But in terms, because here's the thing, people go like, I like the way this plays or the way it sounds, but I wish I could do something, just change it. And all the Yamaha I felt ever had to do was just have bass, mid, treble. Just the onboard EQ right there on top. Any sound, any sample they give you. But that defeats the whole purpose of them designing the sound and sculpting it with the reverb and all that stuff in their anechoic chamber where they record it. It just makes everything not right. They want to set it so people don't fool with it. But the first thing people say is, it's a little too bright. Or they don't like this or they don't like that. Whereas on the Kawai, make it however you want.
Yeah. Well, and they do have different ways to go in and start to manipulate the sound. But yeah, I mean, in the modern day, the reality is there's the sample, and they both have incredible sampled 9-foot pianos. Again, the CFX 9-foot Concert Grand from Yamaha, and then in the Yamaha they also have the Bosendorfer Imperial 9-foot Grand. Kawai has the SKEX rendering and their EX, so they have the two 9-foot pianos as well. So that's their samples, but all the modeling that goes on behind the scenes is how you're able to access that. And so Kawai says here, we'll open up 19 parameters to you. Actually, on this one, there's 21 parameters. We'll open up 21 parameters to you.
You can make them however you want.
Yeah, have fun doing it. And on the Yamaha, it's a little bit more like change the room environment, open the lid, close it, but really...
It's not as detailed.
It's not as detailed, and I don't know if that's to their detriment or not.
Well, I think when you consider the market that Yamaha knows, they know that, hey, a lot of people are going to be buying this. So they're not going to put a whole lot of, it's going to not saying that they know they're designing a standard. They know they're designing something where they can make like a lot of them and sell them. And the same is true of Kawai, but at the same time, they've always been not so worried about how many of them that they sell, but how good is the thing that we're selling.
Yeah.
And it's just a different kind of philosophy, I think, when it comes to putting these, a lot of these products are so perfectly matched in their price range and in if you look at the speaker size, the cabinet materials, the sample, you look at the size of the amperes, the voltage, it's almost identical. It's like I said, they answered the same bid request. At the same time, I think that Yamaha is probably geared up for a larger market. As Kawai knows that not everyone is discerning or discriminating toward having control over their piano sound. Like most people, most of the times what I've heard is like, well, it's not for me, it's for my kids. So whatever, whatever floats their boat. But these two products are extreme competitors. They're right in the same price range. They hit all the same boxes. And other than saying whatever one you like, it's personal preference. Me personally, I've always liked the Kawais. I thought that their action and their sound in the same price range is always just quite a bit better than what their competitors are. And a lot of people say, nah, I want that. It's because they bought in. I can't be seen with that bag. It doesn't say Gucci on it. A lot of people want that Yamaha name on their electronic stuff because it's one of the top 3 corporations in the world. People represent that Yamaha no matter what it is.
Yeah, no, and so let's go take a listen to both these instruments. We'll come back and talk about a couple more features, but again, very quality sounds, quality actions. The way it responds to the player, I think, is going to be the biggest difference. And then some of those just smaller details of how they approach giving you their best.
Right.
And so let's take a listen to it. We'll come back.
playing both of these instruments to me is a major step up from the 735 and the CA59.
Yeah, you know,
it's worth every dollar in the spread, regardless of which one you buy.
Yeah. No, this is kind of where the line comes a little bit more alive, especially with the Yamaha. You see that, you know, the big jump in wood keys are offered now. With the Kawai, you know, the control panel, just like the overall controls of it's a little bit more open. You do get Bluetooth audio and MIDI on both of these instruments, so you're able to convert it into a nice 100-watt speaker system for yourself. And you know, the way it feels and responds to you because of the extra power, the extra wattage, it just all starts to come together as more of a complete package.
Playing a heavier thing too.
And so yeah, we've seen a lot more of these models sold than the entry level, especially with you look all the way down to 725 from Yamaha. That one for us, you know, it's an entry price point, but I feel like a lot of people just click and buy that on Amazon and on. So we don't sell a lot of 725s. When we, you know, start to show people the 735 and the 745, people start to, hey, that is something I'm interested in. It does feel better. It does sound better. Same with the Kawai stuff. The CN series is, I feel like, more of that click and buy online price point. And once people do a little bit more research, they start looking at the CA49, the CA59. We saw a lot of the CA701s. It's the CA79, but the 701s is the new version of that. But yeah, both these instruments, you know, they got the Bluetooth, they've got the wattage, they've got the feel. How would you say that the response is there a difference in response? I've always felt like the Kawai piano is a very smooth interaction when you're playing the keys.
It is. It's I guess the way to put it is when you sit down and you play the Kawai, the CA59, you sit down and you play that. It's almost like it's someone else's piano that's like just broken in perfectly. I don't know how to explain it. It's
I feel that
you're playing something you're familiar with.
And the Yamaha, I feel like, is like a rock and roll piano where you really can play into it, and it's got.
But it also feels like it's brand newly made. And it just seems to be maybe the action a little tighter, but the Kawai to me plays like. It just plays like your favorite broken-in piano.
Yeah, and so you know, these are things, of course, that you would have to, you know,
they have a different feel from this one to that one. It's entirely different. It's like, I don't like this. You're gonna like one right away, or you're not gonna like the other one.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we highly recommend going in and trying these pianos because they really do kind of speak to you differently. And you know, you're probably going to be favoring one or the other. But there are, you know, again, it's important to remember if you don't like the overall tonal preference of one
or the response, you can go in.
There's ways to change it, yeah. And so I would always encourage you to kind of go one step further. But go try these pianos out. Go try out the digital instruments because everyone's going to respond to them differently. Please leave comments if you've owned a Clavinova. Maybe you've owned a 645 or a 545, which are the predecessors to the 745. Maybe you own a 745 now and you're looking for something different. Same with the Kawai. If you've owned a 59, a CA59, or a 58 or 57, those are the predecessors. Please leave comments. Let us know what you enjoyed about it, what you thought, hey, I wish it did X, Y, or Z, or maybe next time I'm going to choose the other brand because, you know, whatever. Please leave those comments. I really know people appreciate it, and it's great conversations. It's great to just hear someone else's perspective. That's kind of why we do these videos, to bring a different angle of presenting these products for people who are looking for them. And we hope you learned something about classification of pianos and maybe the right digital piano.
Darwinism of music instruments. Yeah. That's really kind of wild.
It's pretty nuts. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll be bringing more piano facts and more great content on digital pianos. Thank you for watching.